You know those cities that totally fly under the radar? And then, when you finally visit, you are like, wait, why didn't anyone tell me about this place? That's exactly what Thessaloniki is. Most people skip it, and honestly, that's their loss, because this city has layers. 1 minute you are walking by ancient Roman ruins, and the next you're sipping espresso by the sea or ordering a pastry you've never heard of, but now suddenly can't live without.
Hi, I'm Chrysula, a local travel creator based here in Greece, and I've been to Thessaloniki many times. So in this video, I'm taking you with me in this fantastic city to explore the best things to do here, including the best views, amazing food, hidden gems, and local tips. Let's go!
If you want to feel the soul of Thessaloniki, head straight to the waterfront. It stretches along the Thermaic Gulf like a ribbon, perfect for a morning walk, an afternoon coffee, or a sunset bike ride. Start at the old port, where old warehouses have turned into bars, cafes, and art spaces. It's laid back, local, and full of character. Then make your way to the White Tower, the city's most iconic symbol. It's been a prison, a fortress, and now a museum, and it's where everyone stops for that classic Thessaloniki photo. You can climb to the top for amazing views, but even just sitting nearby with a koulouri feels pretty perfect. And here is a little extra. Right in front of the tower you will spot old-timey boats offering 30-minute cruises around the bay. It's one of the coolest ways to see the city from the water, especially around sunset. Keep strolling and you will hit Nea Paralia, a modern promenade with themed gardens, sculptures, and the famous umbrellas installation. It's peaceful, photogenic, and best enjoyed slowly. If Thessaloniki had a time machine, it would be Poli. The upper town feels like a completely different world, slower, quieter, and full of stories. Up here you will find the Ptapyrion, also known as Gedikoule, a fortress complex that served as both a Byzantine stronghold and later an infamous prison during the Ottoman and modern Greek periods. Its walls have seen emperors, rebels, and political prisoners, and standing here gives you this eerie, powerful feeling of how much history these stones have witnessed. From there, walk along the old fortification walls to the Triangle Tower, a pointy outcrop with a panoramic view over the city, the port, and the Thermaic Gulf. It's one of the most photographed spots in Poli, especially at golden hour. But it's not just about castles and walls. This area is filled with UNESCO-listed Byzantine churches and monasteries that are still standing after centuries, like Osios David, known for its rare 5th century mosaic showing a birdless Christ, tucked away behind wooden doors and blooming bougainvillea. And then there is Vlatados Monastery, the only active monastery in the city. It's calm, high up and surrounded by trees with stunning views over the sea. Sometimes you will even spot peacocks wandering the grounds, and inside, a deep sense of spiritual stillness that contrasts beautifully with the city buzz below. The streets here are narrow and winding, lined with colorful Ottoman-style houses and hidden corners that feel untouched by time. It's the kind of place where you get lost, and that's exactly the point. And when your legs need a break, sit down at a small taverna, order a tsipuro and a plate of spicy bouyourdi, and just enjoy the stillness. If you want to understand the real energy of Thessaloniki, skip the shopping malls and head straight to the markets. Start with Modiano Market, right in the heart of the city. It was recently renovated and now it's this beautiful blend of old and new, traditional food stalls, modern wine bars and cozy little eateries tucked under a restored glass roof. You can grab everything from smoked meats and local cheeses to fresh oysters and chipuro by the glass. A few steps away is Kapani Market, and this one is pure chaos in the best way. It's noisy, crowded, and smells like a mix of spices, meat, and fried things you will want to try. Locals come here for everything: fish, olives, herbs, and gossip. It's gritty, authentic, and completely alive. Between the two, you will find Thessaloniki's soul, loud, flavorful, and full of surprises. Thessaloniki was once one of the most important cities in the Roman Empire, and traces of that past are still here, woven into the streets and plazas. Start with the Roman Forum, also known as the Agora. This was the heart of the public life in Roman Thessalonica, a massive square filled with arcades, markets, and public buildings. You will see the remains of a small theatre, Odeon, underground galleries, and a marble layout of ancient shops and streets. You can visit the site or simply view it from above. Either way, it's incredible to see how much of it still survives right in the heart of the modern city. From there, make your way to the Rotunda, one of the oldest surviving buildings in Thessaloniki. It was possibly built as a mausoleum for Emperor Galerius or as a temple, but over the centuries it became a Christian church, a mosque, and now a monument open to visitors. Inside you will find soaring columns, thick stone walls, and some of the oldest gold mosaics in the Christian world still glittering high above. Just a few meters away is the Arch of Galerius, or Kamara as locals call it. Built to celebrate Galerius' victory over the Persians, the arch is covered in detailed carvings of battles, gods, and triumph. And directly across the street, near Navarino Square, are the remains of the Palace of Galerius, a huge imperial complex that once connected all of this together. You can walk through the outlines of the palace walls, spot remnants of the audience hall, and even see fragments of mosaic floors. It's one of the best preserved Roman palace sites in Greece, and many people don't even realize it's there. You don't need to be a history buff to enjoy Thessaloniki's museums, because this city doesn't do dry or boring. It does layers, and these museums help you peel them back one by one. Start with the Archaeological Museum of Thessaloniki. It's one of the most important in the country, and not just because of what's inside. Here you will find treasures from Macedonia, ancient gold statues, tombs, all beautifully presented with context. You will actually feel how powerful and wealthy ancient Thessaloniki once was. Right next door is the Museum of Byzantine Culture, and honestly, it's a masterpiece. Thessaloniki was the second most important city in the Byzantine Empire after Constantinople, and this museum shows you why. The architecture, the icons, the mosaics. It all gives you a real sense of that era's elegance and spiritual depth. And if you're in the mood for something more contemporary, check out the Museum of Contemporary Art. It showcases both Greek and international artists and is housed in a sleek industrial-style space that feels totally modern, a great contrast to the city's ancient layers. This city has lived through so many civilizations, and in its museums you get to travel through all of them without leaving the city limits. And while we are in museum mode, here is a spot most visitors totally miss: the OTE Tower. It's that tall, space-age looking building just across from the Archaeological Museum. Inside there is a 360-degree rotating cafe that slowly spins as you sip your coffee, giving you panoramic views over the city, the sea, and even Mount Olympus in the distance. It's not flashy, but it's one of the best places to get a feel for Thessaloniki's layout, especially if it's your first time here. You can't visit Thessaloniki without stepping into Aristotelous Square. It's the city's main stage, open, symmetrical, and lined with elegant neoclassical buildings. It's where everything seems to happen, festivals, protests, concerts, or just people watching with a cold coffee in hand. But the area around the square is just as rich in history. Within minutes on foot, you can visit some of Thessaloniki's most famous early Christian and Byzantine churches, many of them UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Like Hagia Sophia, inspired by the Hagia Sophia in Istanbul, with its massive dome and centuries-old mosaics still simmering above your head. Or Agios Dimitrios, the city's patron saint. This basilica is built over a Roman bath and includes a crypt where the saint was said to have been imprisoned. It's one of the most sacred places in the city. And don't miss Panagia Chalkeon, known as the Red Church, for its striking brickwork, hidden just behind the Roman Forum and a favorite among photographers. Nearby, you will also find the Church of the Achirapaitos, one of the oldest surviving Christian churches in Thessaloniki, dating back to the 5th century. It still retains its original marble columns and beautiful mosaic details, and walking into it feels like stepping into a piece of untouched early Christianity. And just a little further west, near the Dikasterion Square, stands the Church of the Agii Apostoli, a masterpiece of late Byzantine architecture with 5 domes and a richly decorated facade. It's quieter than the others, but absolutely worth a stop if you're exploring the edge of the city center. This whole central area is like a living museum, modern shops and cafes alongside churches, ruins and timeless landmarks. Traces of Thessaloniki's Ottoman past still quietly survive in corners of the city. Look out for the domes of Bey Hammam, the oldest Ottoman bathhouse in Greece, still standing by Egnatia Street. Nearby, the Yahudi Hammam served a bustling marketplace, while in Poli, the Musa Baba Mausoleum hints at the city's once diverse spiritual life. These scattered remnants might not stand out at first glance, but they add yet another layer to Thessaloniki's endlessly complex identity. Now let's talk about something Thessaloniki takes very seriously: food. This city doesn't just feed you, it wins you over one bite at a time. Let's start with bougatsa, not just a pastry, but a way of life here. In Thessaloniki, it comes in all kinds of fillings, from custard to cheese to minced meat or even spinach. Everyone has a favorite, and it's one of the most common breakfasts in the city. You will find it everywhere, from hole-in-the-wall bakeries to busy corner cafes. Later in the day, grab a slice of tsureki, that sweet fluffy breaded bread you will see in shop windows. Some versions come filled with chocolate or chestnut cream, and yes, they are as good as they sound. And when it comes to dessert, you have to try trigona panoramatos. These syrupy custard-filled phyllo triangles were invented right here in Thessaloniki, and honestly, they're a local obsession. Crunchy on the outside, creamy inside, they're pure indulgence. Then at night, head to Ladadika. This old neighborhood is packed with ouzeries and tavernas, fairy lights overhead, music in the air. It's a perfect place to sit down for meze and tsipuro and just soak up the vibe. Order a little bit of everything and take your time. That's how we do it here. Alright, before we wrap things up, let me give you a few quick tips to make your trip a whole lot easier. First off, getting here. Thessaloniki has its own international airport, and it's only about 30 minutes from the city center. You can grab a taxi, pre-book a transfer, or just hop on the airport bus. That's bus 1X during the day and 1N at night. It costs just a couple of euros and honestly is super straightforward. Now where should you stay? If it's your first time in Thessaloniki, the best bet is somewhere central, around Aristotelous Square, Egnatia Street or Ladadika. You will be close to everything and you can pretty much walk everywhere. As for getting around, Thessaloniki is really walkable. But great news, the metro is finally open. It's clean and fast. You have also got a hop-on hop-off bus, which is perfect if you want a relaxed overview of the city without worrying about directions. There is a regular bus system too. It works fine, but it can be a little confusing at first. Use Google Maps to navigate it like a local. And if you're wondering when to come, honestly, spring and early fall are ideal. May, June or September. The weather is just right, warm, sunny, but not unbearably hot. The city feels alive, but not too crowded. If you're thinking of coming in July or August, just be ready for serious heat and humidity. And if you're staying more than a couple of days, it's definitely worth doing a day trip. Head to Vergina to see the royal tombs of Philip II, father of Alexander the Great. If you love nature, Mount Olympus is nearby, full of hiking trails and mythology. Or relax at the beaches of Halkidiki, just 1 to 1.5 hours away. And for something truly breathtaking, consider a day trip to Meteora, those towering rock formations with monasteries balanced on top. It's a bit farther, but totally doable as a day tour from Thessaloniki, and one of the most surreal landscapes in all of Greece. Thessaloniki isn't flashy. It doesn't scream for your attention like some other cities, but that's exactly its charm. It's layered, it's lived in, and it's the kind of place that stays with you long after you've left. I've been coming here for years, and every time I discover something new. A quiet church I've never noticed before, a pastry shop tucked into an alley, a view that just drops you mid-step. So if you're heading to Greece and you are tempted to skip Thessaloniki, don't. Give it a few days, let it grow on you. You won't regret it. I hope you found my guide to Thessaloniki helpful. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Greece travel tips. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions and if you plan to come to Thessaloniki. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!